Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this channel. Or if you're new here, thank you for joining us today. My name is Chris. In so many of my videos, I begin with the statement that since 2003, I've been on a journey of personal development and a quest to live a more intentional life. But when I was thinking about what I wanted to say for this first video of 2025, I begin to realize that's only a partially true statement. And so today, I want to share with you the rest of the story, and I want to encourage you in how to approach 2025. So let's talk about it. I consider 2023 the beginning of my journey of personal development because that was the year that I really was able to be consistent in sowing personal development material into my life. That was the year that starting in January, I began to read a personal development book every single day. And that's the first year that I was consistent in that. And not only was I reading personal development books, but I would consistently watch YouTube videos on personal development, listen to podcasts on personal development. That was really the year that I kind of went all in personal development. And so I consider that the beginning of that personal development journey. But as I was thinking about this video, I realized that's not entirely true. You know, I actually started getting interested in personal development back in 2020. That was the first year that I went to a personal development or leadership conference. And during that conference, I learned a lot of good things, particular about leadership. There were a number of things that I took from that conference and I put into practice at my job as a leader of the department that I'm in. And so I learned a whole lot from there. But in during that conference, my eyes were really opened up to personal development for the first time. This was in November of 2020, and I got excited that I was going to really jump into the personal development that year. So at the beginning of 2021, I made not just resolutions, but actual goals. I had made the decision I'm going to learn about this personal development stuff. What is it? What does it mean? How can it bless my life? How can it be a part of my career? All of these things. And beginning in 2021, I started off fairly strong. I started listening to reading some books, listening to some podcasts, but I found that after a while, I just kind of petered out a little bit. And like a lot of people who start the year off with a New Year's resolution and are all excited about it, I just kind of let it go. And then partially the way through the year, I was reminded about it. I was like, oh yeah, I was going to do that. And so I picked up the book I had been reading. I started it over. I started listening to the podcasts again, started seeing some stuff on YouTube, and I did fairly well for a couple of weeks or so. And then I kind of dropped it again. And that first year, 2021, it was a lot of ups and downs. I was excited about it. I was going all out. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, distractions came in, life came in. It was busy, major projects came in that I had to put so much of my focus on that I just kind of forgot about this thing over here called personal development. And so 2021, I was interested in personal development, but I wasn't really going all out in personal development. When 2022 came along, the same thing. I attended that same conference in November of 2021, and I got excited about it all over again. I thought to myself, okay, this year I'm really going to do it. Last year, that's behind me now. I'm really excited for this. I took a lot of good things from that conference, put it in my life where my career was concerned, but I was really interested into jumping into this personal development. And 2022 was more of the same. I was excited about it. I'd start reading books. I'd be listening to podcasts, doing these things. I'd do really well, maybe for a month or two. But then distraction came, life happened, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then I'd remember a couple months later, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do this year. And I'd pick it back up and I would go through the same process. I would do the same thing. And 2022 was much the same as 2021. Was interested in personal development. I knew I needed growth. I needed personal growth. I was already starting to see that so many of the things I had when I was doing the personal development, I was starting to see how they tied into biblical principles that I follow. That's something that's interested me more and more. But again, I was not consistent in it at all. In 2022, I attended that conference again in November. I got excited again. I thought, okay, we're going to do this. But it was mostly the same as what I thought in 2021 and 2022. But I thought, okay, going to do this. And then 2023 started. And I said, okay, I'm going to read personal development every single day. And I did it. Did it for the first week, did it for the first month, did it for the first 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. For whatever reason, in 2023, something clicked in me, and I was able to be consistent in my personal development journey. So that's why I say since 2023, I've been on a journey of personal development. It's when I really became consistent in my journey of personal development. But there was a problem with 2023 when I looked back on that, especially when I started this channel in living the more intentional life and trying to share with you all my journey in personal development. So many times I wanted to do a video on how I became consistent in my personal development journey. But every time I looked back at the beginning of 2023, I could not identify what was different about that year that caused it to click. It was pretty much the same thing. There was nothing at the beginning of 2023 or leading up to 2023. There was no book I read that just I had a light bulb moment and I was just like, oh, that's what caused all of this to come into place. That's what all fits it all together. There was no aha moment. There was no moment where that was the moment of my freedom where personal development was concerned. I could not identify what it was different about 2023 that I could be consistent in that, but I was not consistent previously. And then when I thought about it this year, I still wanted to share with you how I made that turn in personal development, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Well, then in 2024, beginning in June, I started this YouTube channel. And as I said before, I have a ministry channel as well. And I started being more consistent in doing videos on that channel as well. Now, for years previously, I desired to be consistent in the YouTube videos. I desired to be able to put out the things that the Lord had put in my heart, both on the ministry side and then when this channel started. And for years, I was not consistent in recording my YouTube videos. But in 2024, for some reason, something clicked. And I've been consistently putting out YouTube videos on 2 channels since June of 2024. Now, previously I had 1 channel and I couldn't even be consistent in that. But something happened in 2024 that it just clicked. That's the only way I can describe it. It just started to work and I was able to be consistent putting out videos in 2 channels. And so as I was coming into 2025 and I was thinking, what about my personal development journey can I share with you all? I began to think about these turnings in my life where things in personal development just started working. And I was frustrated that I could not figure out what was that thing that caused it to be consistent. But as I thought about it, as I meditated on it, and even as I prayed about it, I began to realize that what caused it to click in 2023 was the fact that through 2021 and 2022, even when I dropped it, I picked it back up. And each time I picked up personal development, I was reading the books, but then I let it drop, but I picked it up again. Those inconsistent times, I was still learning, I was still putting something on the inside of me that eventually turned into what I needed for consistency. When it comes to personal development, so many times people will say, and I'm sure I've even said it on here before, you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent. And sometimes we might give off the wrong idea that if you're not consistent in a thing, then it's worthless. And what I realized is yes, we want to be consistent. We want to be doing personal development every single day. But most people don't start off consistently. Most people start off with a desire, but it takes time to change habits. It takes new thoughts being introduced into your mind to change the way you think and the way you behave. And so it's inconsistent times that if you'll keep doing the thing inconsistently, I believe it will lead to consistency. You are putting in what you need to get to the place where you can then do it consistently. And so when I was thinking about this, you might be coming into 2025 the same way I came into 2022, where I had already tried it. I tried to be consistent in it and it didn't seem to work. And when you come into a situation like that, the tendency is your desire, you just want to give up. Okay, I tried the personal development stuff, it didn't work, I couldn't stay consistent, maybe it's not for me. Well, I'm telling you, maybe you won't be consistent last year, maybe you won't be consistent this year. But if you keep doing it, if you keep picking it up every time you realize you had set it down, I believe each time you do that, you're putting more into you and it's building something in you that will lead to the consistency. Now, for me, I'm going to put this into practice where exercise is concerned. I've been desiring to be consistent in exercise. But what I realized about exercise that is different than what I did where personal development is concerned is I desire to do exercise 3 to 4 times a week. But what I found is there are times on a Thursday night I think to myself, I should go work out. But then the thought comes, well, I didn't work out Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So this one time isn't going to do me any good. And then I just end up sitting on the couch watching YouTube videos or playing with my kids. Well, what I was missing out in is even if I'm not consistent in my exercise right now, it might not do a whole lot of good for me physically if I'm inconsistent in my exercise. But if I'll still do it, if every time I think about it, I think I should do this, and even though I hadn't done it all week, I'm going to do it tonight anyways, I believe that just beginning to do that inconsistently will lead to consistency. So that's one of my goals for 2025 is I desire to get in better shape, get more healthy for my children. We have a big trip planned in 2025 to a big vacation, and we're going to do a lot of hiking, and I don't want to be winded when I'm doing that. And so I'm going to start, even if I can't be consistent, I'm going to be faithful in inconsistency. And I believe that if you're going into 2025 and you've wanted to do personal development or you've wanted to do um, exercise or you wanted to do just anything, and every time you tried it, you were excited about it, you were happy about it, but then you dropped it and you got discouraged because you couldn't be consistent. I'm telling you, continue to pick it up whenever you think about it. Remind yourself why it was important to you. And I believe that the more you do it, you're putting consistency, you're building up consistency on the inside of you. And eventually it will become consistent. Eventually it will become a habit. Eventually it will become a way of life. And so, and you never know. Maybe you've been being inconsistent for the past year, 2 years, 3 years. Maybe this is the year that it clicks for you. So I just encourage you, whatever it is that you've been desiring to do, you had a good reason for it, you had motivation for it, but you just got frustrated that you could never be consistent. I'm encouraging you, keep doing it, keep building it up in you, keep being intentional in the thing you want to become consistent in, and eventually it will come to pass. It will happen for you, and it might as well be this year. I believe this is going to be a great year of growth, of development, of purpose, and of many, many great things. And I believe that for you as well. But if you want to learn more about how this channel is changing to where it is now going to be about my personal journey and personal development from a Christian perspective, you can check out this video right here. But until I see you again, go out and live that more intentional life.